This week at Outside Reviews, we are exploring the sedan world, and we're doing so with the 2025 Hyundai Sonata all-wheel drive H-Track. That's right. So we're gonna dive right into it. We got Brian behind the camera. My name is Pat, just a couple of military guys doing car reviews. And without further ado, let's address this nice front end. I actually like it quite a bit. I like this light bar. Sure, it's a trait that they've taken from EVs, but it still kind of looks pretty cool. And as far as if we're comparing to all the other ones out there, we know who they are: the Toyota Camry, the Honda Accord, the Nissan Altima. I think Hyundai has done a very good job at designing a nice looking sedan. I like this. I mean, it's a lot of glossy black, but it still looks pretty sharp. Comment below what you guys think about the light bar and such. However, underneath the hood, we've got a 2.5 liter four-cylinder engine that's going to give you 191 horsepower, 181 pounds-feet of torque through an 8-speed transmission. This does come in a hybrid version as well, so that's going to give you 192 horsepower, so 1 horsepower more, but 271 pounds-feet of torque, so significantly more torque. Fuel economy for the gas engine one is 8.6 liter per 100 kilometers in Canada, or 29 miles per gallon in the US. For the hybrid, you're looking at 48 miles per gallon, and I'm not even gonna cover how much liters per 100 kilometers. We can't have the hybrid in Canada. I don't know what's up with that, but we can only have the gas model. So that being said, if we're moving off to the side here, we got a nice pair of 18-inch wheels. I definitely like the design of it. Like I said, everything that's design and aesthetics from the outside, I think Hyundai did a really good job. Those 18-inch wheels look really good. They got some nice touches here. We got colored, body colored mirror caps there, and keyless access. It's actually not on both doors, just on the front doors, but it does unlock all 4 doors. Definitely convenient there. And we're gonna move on to the back, and I'll keep telling you all about the convenience of this car. And in the back end, now right away, I definitely like the red taillight, the H going on. Obviously Hyundai likes to put H everywhere. We know the new Santa Fe has like 72 on it or whatever, but nice little H's all over design. So like I said, everything that's exterior aesthetics, they really did a bang up job. I actually love it. But yeah, so the LED lights, nice touch, but this touch I like even more for convenience. Obviously I can power the tailgate. I can open it with the key. Let me just grab the key here. So this is what the key fob looks like, and you do have a button to unlock it on the side here, but I more prefer the convenience of just having this button here, just like you would on a hatchback or anything like that, and it opens up. And inside, it's got a generous amount of space. You're talking about 16 cubic feet of space. One of the best one in this segment. You absolutely gotta love it. And if you want more space, you can actually just throw those seats down and have even more. In the back seat, I'm 5'9", just for reference, 34.6 inches of legroom. Now that does fall a little bit short when comparing to these other 3 competitors I mentioned, all of which have 35 and above, up to 39 inches of legroom. So this is on the shorter side. I have 2 USB-C connectors. Now this is the preferred trim, and it does come with nice leather seats. Obviously I got cup holders, and everything is pretty comfortable. I got headroom. I'm only 5'9", but I think I got a couple of maybe an inch or so of headroom left over. All in all, pretty comfortable. Here we are on the inside in the captain's chair, where I like to sit, driver's seat, and we are met with a nice array of dual 12-inch screens. Something that Hyundai does very well. I find that their interior looks a little bit more modern on that side of it. And I am pleased to say that they've limited the amount of piano black, right? So I'm not talking, this is not obviously the high-end or the N line. So for here in Canada, you have like the preferred trim, and then you got the N line. In the US, you guys got the SE, the SEL, and you have all the way to hybrid limited. And obviously the luxury aspect is gonna be a lot better when you go to that limited. I like that this is not like piano black. Like I said, it's just a nice gray surface because it's easy to maintain, no fingerprints on it, and easy to clean. And I do have some leather spots here everywhere where you're going to touch, and some plastic. So you got a mix of everything. We got some plastic down here as well, but everywhere you're gonna touch, nice leather surface, which is pretty good for this price point, which I'll get to at the end. Speaking of the 12-inch digital screen, now they're not as crisp as what you would see at General Motors, which has like, 4K resolution and stuff, but it definitely does the job well. It gives you all the information you could possibly need, fuel economy and such. And, I have my infotainment screen here that doesn't really lag. It responds very well, and it has wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, something that I was pretty happy to see, because Hyundai for the longest time required you to wire in, have a cable on there, and finally this one does have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto pretty good. HVAC controls over here. We have heated and ventilated seats and this preferred trim, which is definitely good. And you got hard buttons for map, search, and so on. Everything works really well. I haven't had any issues tapping the buttons for the fan and such. Yeah, pretty responsive. I got 2 USB-C connection. I don't have a wireless charger. However, you can get it when you get to those upper trims, and it would be right here. I do like this nice storage surface here. And here, you can perfectly fit a cell phone there. So it just holds it like this. Fits pretty good. My drive mode select, as far as drive modes, I do have Sport. I have My Drive, which you can customize drive. Snow, which is, this being an all-wheel drive vehicle, pretty good. And Normal. I don't have economic or anything like that. I like that they kept the drive modes pretty much, to what you need. If you want to be economic, just don't hammer that gas pedal, is what I always say. I do have an auto hold button and camera. Now, speaking of camera views, you don't have 360 camera on this one. So you do have this, and I was telling Brian, I'm like, oh, wow, this is perfect for a tow hitch, but this is not rated for towing, so there's that. And you can go full screen and have, without the guidelines, and have a nice view of your surrounding as far as the back goes. But this is pretty much the traditional view you guys are going to use. Visibility is pretty good anyways all around this vehicle. The windows and everything and the mirrors do a pretty good job. I have an auto hold function, which is pretty good, and then I have a poverty button right here, so we don't have the limited. Cup holders will fit big gulp. And overall, I find this pretty spacious for this segment, nice and comfortable. And let's take it for a drive. And here I am driving, and well, I'm actually at red light, so I'm gonna wait for driving, but I just want to talk about a little bit the comfort of it. Like I said, it's pretty comfortable. I like it's a little bit more spacious than, for example, an Elantra. Obviously, it's a little bit bigger than the Elantra. But as far as driving, I've been driving this well over 700 kilometers so far this week. Kind of put a little bit of mileage on there. And my fuel economy is about 8.2 liters per 100 kilometers. So we're looking at the average I gave you for this being the gas all-wheel drive is 8.6 liters. That's the combined fuel economy. So yeah, I'd say that's about right. Half of my mileage was on the highway, so it gives you a good combined fuel economy. As far as power output, I've got to say it's not a vehicle that's gonna overwhelm you. As far as power output, you're not gonna be racing anybody with this. One thing that I found is the 8-speed transmission is a little bit sluggish when you want to drive it hard. What I mean by that is, if I floor it down, press really high, and then it seems to slowly engage. I don't get much of a downshift and so on. So I do find that, and I have read in other reviews that it's the same for the hybrid version, and I could picture that because the hybrid has more torque, so maybe there's 8-speed transmission, has a little bit harder time dealing with higher torque or higher demand for power. So that's the only thing I really got to mention. I know kind of opened it right off the bat with it. That is what it is. But if you're driving normally, casually, and you're not flooring it, it's ample enough. You can merge on the highway without worries. It's gonna get to those speeds. It's gonna give you the acceleration you need. Although, be it, I don't think it's gonna be as engaging of a drive as some of its competitors, right? If I'm looking at the Honda Accord here, I think that might be a little bit more engaging of a drive. But this is very comfort oriented. It's very comfortable. It absorbs the impact quite well. If you are going to start cornering pretty aggressively, you're going to notice a little bit more body roll. So you got to keep that in mind. Now, I am going to put it in sports mode a little bit. And, you know, most people, they're driving on normal, and every now and then you want to hammer it down. And the problem is when you hammer it down on sports mode, you don't quite get the reaction. There's a big delay in acceleration. So let's see what sport mode really gives us. Yeah, so you get a bit more, but it's still a gradual acceleration. But it revs higher, which is what you're going to want. So you do get a very different feel on the sports mode, which is what you want. You want it to go hit those high revs, get a little bit more of an acceleration. Like I said, this is not a sports car by any standard, nor is it meant to be that. But as far as a comfortable ride, steering feels pretty good. I wouldn't say it's light. I wouldn't say it's rigid. I'd say it's pretty much bang on what I would want, right in the middle. Very comfortable ride. Like I said, visibility is pretty good. We got a wide open no tint on this press fleet vehicle, and you know, the mirrors cover quite a big area. I've got zero complaints with the pillars. They're not too big. Visibility is pretty easy. I don't have 360-degree camera, and I don't feel like I'm missing out. I think I can clearly see where the hood demarcations are, and yeah, no, overall you get a nice, stable, comfortable ride, very well balanced. But I mean, you don't really want to push it to go too fast, because it doesn't seem to like that so much. Now I'm gonna pull over and we're gonna talk a little bit about price. Okay, so price. In Canada, this is going to start about $33,000 and go all the way up to $42,000. So that starts from the preferred and it goes all the way to the N line. Like I said, we don't have the hybrid option here in Canada. In the US, completely different story. You guys start at $27,000 and go all the way to $40,000 because you got the hybrid limited. So that's why it's pretty steep up there. But that hybrid option does give you 48 miles per gallon, so you got the fuel efficiency plus a lot more torque by 271 pounds-feet of torque. So that might be a very good option to consider, especially that, you know, gas prices are not going down anytime soon. So that's going to basically wrap it up. I told you I would talk a little bit about competition, and I just like to basically simplify it a little bit. As far as competition, when you compare the hybrid option or you compare the gas option, they're basically all priced around the same. From, you know, the Nissan does not have the hybrid option, so the Nissan Altima, but Toyota Camry does, Honda Accord, and I looked at their prices and they all seem fairly the same. What I like about Hyundai is the overall appeal of it, not just on the exterior wise. I find that it's more of an appealing vehicle, but also on the interior with the double 12-inch screen, and it just seems a little bit more on the refined side, clean, and a little bit more on the tech as well. I definitely like that. You do lose out on rear leg room, but you do have quite a bit more, a little bit more of boot or trunk space in the back. So that's essentially where it stands. It's pretty easy to compare them because there's not that many things that differ them. You're just gonna have to test drive them yourself and figure out which one that you really fall in love with. If you want that engaging drive, then you might want to go with something else like a Honda Accord or something. Or if you like the comfort of this and the tech of this and the features that you get for the price, then this might be it. If rear seating is a priority, then perhaps a Toyota Camry. So you can see where it all falls down. In the end, things I really like about this vehicle is I like the overall aesthetics of it, and I like the interior, how it's nicely laid out. The driving portion of it, I prefer a more engaging drive, but most of them don't really offer that anyways, so that's just for me. And for fuel economy, this is an all-wheel drive model, so I think that 8.6 liters per 100 kilometers or 29 miles per gallon, I think that can be improved on for the gas models, which is the one I have, so that's the only one I'm going to comment on. So I'd like to hear your comments. I'd like to hear what you guys think. Comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.